Friday, Wilson County Public Library teens, and thank you for joining me for another edition of TGIF, Wilson County Public Library's weekly book talk where we look at the very best in YA literature. I'm your host, Kate Britton. I am the teen librarian here at the Wilson County Public Library, and that does not mean that I am a teenager and a librarian, even though, I look like I'm 12. No, I'm just the librarian who is here for you for any of your questions, comments, concerns, book suggestions, anything like that. I am here for you. You have your very own librarian, and it's me. So, you're welcome. Yeah. I guess. So it's no secret that I'm a little bit of a history nerd. You know this. We've talked about this a little bit on the show. My family knows this. My friends know this. I'm a total dork when it comes to history. And there are certain periods of history that fascinate me more than others. One is is World War II history. And another that's always really fascinated me is early 20th century Russia. So one of the things that's always really fascinated me was the Romanov family, which was the imperial family of Russia. It was a dynasty that lasted for about 200 years in Russia before the Bolsheviks came in and it became the Soviet Union. But the book we're going to be talking about today is called The Family Romanov, Murder, Rebellion, and the Fall of Imperial Russia. And this book is by Candace Fleming, who is a pretty well-known author, especially as far as like YA history is concerned. She wrote another book about Charles Lindbergh that we just got in. I think it's called The Rise and Fall of Charles Lindbergh. I'm not quite sure that's exactly what it is, but it's something like that. And she's a pretty well-known history writer. This book takes place in the last year of the family of Tsar Nicholas II, who was the last Tsar of Russia, and the Tsar was the emperor, the ruler of all of Imperial Russia. It's about the last years of the Tsar and his family before they were all murdered by the Bolsheviks. They were all executed after being taken into house arrest. Quick history, Nicholas II. I'm just going to see if we can pop up pictures while I say this. Okay, so Nicholas II was the last Tsar of Russia. He was married to Alexandra, his wife, and they had 5 children. So Olga, Tatiana, Maria, and Anastasia, and his son and heir Alexei, who was a hemophiliac. What does that mean? It means that your blood has a really hard time clotting. It doesn't really clot. So you get a cut or a scrape or something, and like for us, normally, if you are not a hemophiliac, and your blood clots like it's supposed to, you'll get a scab. It'll stop bleeding pretty quickly, and you'll develop a scab. But if you're a hemophiliac, it has a really hard time stopping bleeding. So that meant the poor kid was sick all the time and in pain a lot and injured. So who did they turn to? Who did the Empress, the Tsarina, Alexandra, turn to kind of help try to heal Alexei after the doctors couldn't really do much? Well, it's this really creepy dude named Rasputin. Terrifying, a little unnerving, right? He was this kind of healer, monk, priest person who is a pretty diabolical character when you look back on Russian history. And they saw him as this kind of magical, mystical dude who had this kind of really creepy, uncanny ability to kind of pull people into his orbit. He was actually a pretty, rowdy guy who you wouldn't really associate with any kind of church at all to begin with. And so at this time, the imperial family's got all this going on, right? And the people of Russia are suffering in a lot of ways. They're hungry, they are oppressed, and the Tsar doesn't really pay attention. He's kind of in his own little bubble. He's not really well equipped to handle what is going on in Russia. He and his family are living kind of this nice, happy existence and not really paying attention to the plight of the Russian people. So, what happens? Well, there's a rebellion. The Bolsheviks come about and at some point arrest Nicholas II and his family, put him in house arrest, and all his whole family and some of their kind of servants, I guess you could say, or people, their staff, household staff, are murdered, and all of them are killed. So because the Bolsheviks don't want anybody kind of surrounding them and pushing them up and bringing them back into power. So, there are a lot of things now, a lot of kind of urban myths that came out that, like, one of the daughters, either Anastasia or Maria, did not make it out. I mean, they made it out alive, which was completely debunked when they found their remains. There was a really famous story about a woman named Anna Anderson who claimed to be Anastasia. She was not. But anyway, this book, that's just kind of a rundown of everything. Rasputin was part of it that kind of turned people against him. They're like, why are they listening to this guy? He sucks. He's terrible. Why is the Empress listening to him? And kind of they started doing lewd cartoons and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, this book is a narrative story with firsthand accounts, pictures, letters, kind of filling in the gaps of this story. And it really shows it as a story. And it's fascinating. And it shows kind of how the Romanovs, there was this kind of disconnect between the Romanovs and the people of Russia. And kind of how that led to this very violent and dramatic political change in Russia that brought about the Soviet Union. And this was around the end of World War I. Keep in mind, so there was a lot going on. This book is it won the Orbis Pictus Award for Outstanding Nonfiction for Children. It won the Los Angeles Times Book Prize for Young Adult Literature, the Boston Globe Horn Book Award for Nonfiction, a YALSA Excellence in Nonfiction Award finalist. I mean, this book has all the awards. But it really gives a really interesting, in-depth narrative, so it's a story, narrative look at this family and what happened. Because that's the nice thing about history. You can look back at something and really dissect it and see what caused what to happen. And this book is really great about that. So, The Family Romanov, Murder, Rebellion, and the Fall of Imperial Russia by Candace Fleming. I hope I didn't bore you too much with my droning on and on and on and on and on and on about the history of this. Like I said, I'm a little bit of a history nerd, so really thank you for bearing with me. But we do have this book. We just got it in. It's a brand new book for us here in the Wilson County Public Library. You can go online and place a hold for it if you'd like. If you're like, I want that and I want to get it before anybody goes in there and gets their hands on it, you go online right now. You go to our website, you look up the book in our card catalog, and you place a hold on it right now, right this second. Like, as soon as you click out of this video, go to our website or just open up a new tab and just go ahead and hold it. Because if you're at all interested in history, and if this isn't the period of history that you know so much about, or an area of the world that you don't know a ton about, it's always fun to learn new things about new things and new places, and things that happened in those places. So anyway, I hope I didn't bore you too much, but thank you so much for stopping by and watching me drone on and on. So yeah, come pick up this book, come check it out figuratively and literally, and let me know what you think about it. If you have read about this, let me know. If you have any interest in this kind of history, let me know. If you have any comments about this video, comment on the video. It's, pretty simple. Or like it. Or, if you're on Facebook, on YouTube, just like and subscribe, like they always say. I hope you're doing well. Have a wonderful weekend. And I can't wait to see you right back here next week on TGIF. Bye, guys. Be good.